Special thanks to our sponsors Be Quiet, Lian Lee, ViewSonic, Phanteks and Deepcool for sending us to CES 2019.
What is going on, everyone? We are here at the Phanteks Suite at the ARIA for CES 2019, and to start things off here, we're going to talk about the Enthoo Luxe 2. This is probably one of the first cases ever where I felt like I need to show you the right panel before I show you the left panel. So this one really doesn't disappoint. Again, you got this mesh up here next to the motherboard tray. This is good for up to a 480mm fan rad combo. It's actually what they're sporting right now. Slightly further back, you can see we've got three 2.5-inch SSD trays, and they've lined them with what looks like these are Team Group RGB SSDs, and you want them to be RGB if possible, because you actually get to show them off in this dedicated little tempered glass just cutout here that is literally here to show off SSDs. So this is probably the first case where I also feel like I have to occupy all three SSD trays because it looks so good when you have RGB shining through them. Now, if you guys remember at Computex 2018, Phanteks was showing off just a new concept here. This is actually, it's a fabric. It's more specifically nylon, and they intend for this to completely replace the little metallic grills that you typically see thrown into front panels and top panels and cases. They've really been hyping it up. They're talking about how much less resistant this is with respect to airflow. So if you put fans right in front of this stuff or right behind it, it's it's a lot less of an obstacle for air to pass through this, which means that they can be a little more creative with the design overall, and that's why they've run this stuff literally up and down. No glue of any kind. It's just kind of sandwiched between metal panels. This is still in the production phase, by the way, so that's why it's not looking, you know, super sharp, but I really like the design overall. I like what they're doing here by running this up and down. In fact, from far away, you wouldn't even know that this was nylon. You'd think it was just some metal mesh. Now, the Luxe 2 boasts a dual system design. You don't have to use two systems or throw two systems in here, but they've done that themselves just to show off how versatile this case is and how large it is. It's a pretty large case, but they've managed to work two systems in here and still make it look fairly compact, which is actually what I always try to do when I build custom loops. So you can see this bottom loop here this is all one big loop, by the way, but the bottom one is rigid tubing, and then we've got soft tubing going up to the bigger system, just to show you how versatile it is. You can kind of change things up. Plenty of space to do all of that. We got the R220 reservoir here. It's looking really sweet. Now, actually, the second system, the ITX system, is pressed against this. I don't know if we should call it a basement or what, but it's a basement right below the motherboard tray. So the whole layout here is kind of shifted. So the power supply is actually behind that basement, and then they've given you space toward the left side panel for the ITX system. So I like what they've done. This is definitely a different case. It seems to be very functional, and again, plenty of space to do pretty much whatever you want. And this, folks, is the P600s. You saw a very rough prototype. It actually wasn't even painted at Computex 2018, but now they've got the full production scale model here, and these will go on sale very soon. So stay tuned for that. We're going to definitely get our hands on one of these and review it. But a few things that I do want to highlight again that we touched on briefly at, again, Computex. This front panel here, this is actually it's a really dense metal. We've also got the sound damping material on the inside, so this is pretty much double soundproof. And then we have the same nylon fabric running across the front panel. This is, again, great for airflow. We're going to be sure to test this, but just from preliminary testing in-house, they're saying this stuff is a lot better than the metal mesh. So it's good to see. Again, this is something that I've never seen before, and it's cool to see that Phanteks is following through with this in production models. You have the exact same scenario up top. These panels, by the way, are held in by magnets, so they clip in very securely. And then we have the same nylon finish up top. If for whatever reason you want to mount fans, let's say you have an AIO, you want to mount that up top, you could certainly do so. Even in an intake config, you won't have to worry about dust buildup. This stuff prevents dust from getting into your case. It's very easy to clean. Overall, just expressing the versatility of nylon that, again, we haven't seen before. Hopefully it stays. Another cool thing I like about the P600s is that the color on the outside, the exterior, this is like a brushed metal finish. moves its way into the inside of the case as well. So yeah, this is like a dark silver. I'm not sure what the official color is, but you see the exact same thing on the inside. So let's say you have a motherboard with like dark silver accents. Those look really good with the color just kind of working its way to the inside as well. This, by the way, is almost the exact same layout as the Evolve X interior. So if you like that interior, you're gonna love this one. You still got the sliding panels for cable management. You still got vertical graphics card support native, and then cut out down here to show off your power supply. That nice little 45-degree Phanteks logo, very subtle, but I like the inclusion. The only thing you don't get here is that RGB strip that kind of ran all the way across, that addressable strip. But again, this is going to be a more affordable case than the Evolve X. Evolve X is slightly more enthusiast grade, but this is a case that anybody building a solid system could use. Now, this is kind of a worst case scenario. Let's say you have a full air-cooled build and things are running pretty hot. Now, we've had them crank up the Glax graphics card to full RPM, which for RTX cards is like, that's basically impossible unless you have some issue with it. But if for whatever reason you have a graphics card running fairly loud, this is where the foam trim all the way around the tempered glass makes a big difference. It actually seals it tight, prevents air from leaking in or out, and it also keeps sound suppressed as well. So I'm going to put the mic right up against this door. I'm going to open it and close it. Let's see if you guys can hear a difference. And this is the P600 White Edition. Now, they have two systems in this. So again, this is the exact same layout internally as the Evolve X. So dual system support. You can see the ITX system is up top. They've actually got an AIO attached to it. So 120 mil AIO, and the radiator and fan are mounted next to that, further toward the front. So this is an extremely compact system. They're just showing you how versatile it is if you really wanted to just deck everything out. So you got the hard drives all up front, still a very large graphics card from Asus there, and a beefy CPU cooler. There's a lot of space in here, a lot of room to play with, and yeah, that's why they put this one together, just to show you how much you could do with this case. Now we want to show you guys some metallic gear cases. These are the Neo Silent, Neo Air, and the Neo G. We're going to start with the Silent one. The main differences between these cases, for one, this is going to be the cheapest one, coming in at just $49.99. That's incredibly great value, especially when you see what you're getting inside of this. So this is a similar layout to the P350X. We reviewed that case a while back. You guys, I'm sure, have seen that video. This has a solid front panel with grill slits running all the way down the front on either side. So it's not emphasizing airflow per se, but as long as your fans, again, are not moving at super high RPM, it's not going to be that big a deal unless you're seriously overclocking or doing something crazy inside. But this is actually a very affordable case. Ventilation up top. You have a tempered glass side panel. Again, similar layout to the P350X. So if you're familiar with that case, there aren't going to be too many surprises here, and it does come in at an affordable price point. Now, moving down to the Neo Air, this one emphasizes, you guessed it, airflow. So we have a mesh front panel this time, and for only $10 more, you're also getting the RGB fans as well. So you get two of these up front. You get the mesh panel, all for $59.99. I think this is a really great deal as well. So if you're looking for a more affordable price point for a case, but you still want RGB accents, you want airflow emphasized, then the Neo Air is the case for you. I'm excited to review this exact model, by the way. I like the white trim on this one. And then moving down to the Neo G, this is pretty much their best of the best when it comes to ATX towers here in the Metallic Gear series, for about $69.99. So again, you're still not paying that much for a great case like this. You can see we got a beautiful design up front. You have addressable RGB fans included. So these are a little more technical. You can do a little more with them. We have a video talking about the difference between non-addressable and addressable RGBs, by the way, if you're interested. But this is going to be, again, still a very affordable price point, in my opinion. It looks really sleek in the black. Right now they got it set to red. Still get tempered glass. Yeah, I think all three of these cases come in at excellent price points. So if you're on a budget and you still want something that looks really good, the Neo G, possibly the Neo Air, or even the Neo Silent might be the case for you. And Metallic Gear is also creating Skiron Fans. Now these range in price from about $6.99 up to about $17, $18. So you really get, again, versatility here with respect to price. So if you want something that's kind of bare bones, but actually not bare bones for what you're getting, $6.99 will get you this right here. This actually comes with rubber vibration mounts you can put on either side. They're not applied right out of the box, but you do have the option to kind of tack them on after the fact. So I think it's really nice that they've included these for $6.99. Usually you see these things in like $20 fans, and this will again reduce the vibration of the fan in the case. And we're going to end here with the Glacier series graphics card blocks. These are looking really nice. So 2080 Ti compatible. You can see we got the Gigabyte Extreme cards, support for those, as well as the Asus Strix cards. So 2080s, 2080 Ti's, and they look beautiful. So you can get them in a black trim as well as a kind of a chrome mirror trim, and they look really nice. Another thing that consumers wanted to see in the newest revisions of these Phanteks blocks are the company logos. So Extreme, that's their gaming version of the graphics card. Same with the Strix for Asus. So you can kind of show it off, right? When you buy a graphics card from Asus or Gigabyte, you know, and you put a block on it, right, you're getting rid of the air cooler, so you wouldn't really know otherwise if it was a Gigabyte or an Asus card prior, but they've included the logos here just to show a little brand loyalty for whoever buys into those cards. Also, you can use the stock backplates with either the Strix card or the Extreme card with these blocks, so that's a nice addition as well. And then we also have the FE blocks, which do come with their own Phanteks backplates this time around, which is a nice inclusion. So really a lot of stuff here that I'm excited to get my hands on, especially the P600s and possibly even the Luxe 2. Maybe we'll do a really fancy build on that just to show off all the space we have to play with. I appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for more coverage here at CES 2019. This is Science Studio. Thanks for traveling with us.